Well, greetings and salutations, test takers. This is the Series 7 Guru coming to you from my off-grid studio, getting our kicks on historic Route 66 with another explication request. If you have an explication request, you can send it to explicationrequest at guruexamprep.com. All right, well, let's get started on this one. Investor goes short 1 PFE November 55 call at 9.5 when the market price is 61. Boy, this is a very much a not a smart bear. If we do the setup, fire up our T, there's our strike price of 55. We've got 9.5 point cushion, but boy, 55 or lower, the contracts expire. I keep the money, but that's a naked call. I have unlimited risk, so not bueno here in this first sentence here. I got my T fired up. There's our 55 call. What do you want to think this is dollars in? That's how I do it. Dollars in, dollars out, or credit, or plus, or opening sale, however you want to get that in the right spot. So that's that part of the transaction. A month later, they go long a PFE November 65 call at 5.5. Well, that is bueno. They're what we call not testable, legging into a spread. Maybe I called this guy and I said, hey, listen, this is stupid. You're picking up nickels in front of bulldozers here. You can make 950, you can lose everything. Why don't we take part of your 9.5 and buy the 65 calls at 5.5 and put in a ceiling? Let's take part of our proceeds and buy a higher strike call just in case. So he's legged into a spread. You should definitely know this is a spread. That's a test question, identifying a spread. Same option, different actions. Soda is a good way to remember it. Long and short, the same type of option. All right, so it doesn't matter if it was 61, it doesn't matter that it's 63. At expiration, okay, the stock is 48 and a quarter. By the way, I didn't put my dollars out, debit, minus sign in my T there. You can add that if you'd like in terms of your T. All right, the stock is 48.25, and I close out for intrinsic value. So close means I'm going to close out the opening purchase with a closing sale, and I'm going to close out the opening sale with a closing purchase, right? We have two types of closing transactions as it relates to trading options, right? If we did an opening purchase, the offset is a closing sale, it says closed. If we did an opening sale, it's a closing purchase. For intrinsic value, now, by the way, this is what drives guys like me nuts with test prep vendors because this is just stupid. You wouldn't close out on intrinsic value. They just expire worthless and you get to keep 500 or $400 here. But they're trying to get you, I'll cut them some slack. Maybe they're trying to get you used to this phraseology that is used on the test like several weeks later at expiration, close out at intrinsic value. Anyway, so let's do what they say. So let's put in our market price there. There's our ceiling at 65, right? Way I think about not testable spreads are about floors and ceilings. There's a floor here at 55. There's a ceiling at 65. The market price is 48.25 at expiration. Now that means the contract, the 55 call, has no intrinsic value. There's no such thing as negative intrinsic value. It either has it or it doesn't, right? And the 65 call has no intrinsic value. So we close that out at zero. We close out the 55, call it zero. They both expire worthless. And we've made our max gain of $400. All the action takes place between the strikes. So low 55, I'm going to lose or get to keep, the premium. Above 65, it doesn't matter because I'll buy at 65, deliver at 55, lose 10. I got a net of 4 in the account, so I can lose 6, right? Let's just do some other things. The answer to this question is a $400 gain. But here the contracts expire worthless at expiration if they have no intrinsic value. So that's our answer to the question. Our break even is cow, call, add the lower, didn't ask it, but we should practice our skills. We're going to take the 4 net premium, add it to that lower strike, and we get our break even of 59. The larger premium dominates the position. The larger premium is 950. So that short call is dominant. So this is a bearish spread. We should know the gain and loss always equals the difference in the strikes. So if we just collected 4, we can lose 6. I just illustrated that 6 by saying if we buy at 65, it'll earn 55. By the way, I think that's very helpful because if you don't know that, then you got to memorize that the maximum loss and a credit spread is the difference in the strikes 10, less than net credit 4, for a max loss of 6. I just think it's easier to say there's 10 points to be made or lost. I've collected for so I can lose whatever that balance is. Okay, hope you found that helpful. Again, remember inch by inch, your Series 7's a cinch. Yard by yard, your Series 7 is hard. And I'll see you for the next explication request.